Welcome, welcome everyone. This is going to be our workshop all about how to rest and reset, helping you to get better sleep in just 14 days. So let me show you what we'll be talking about tonight. We'll be going over the issues that a lack of sleep can do, causes of lack of sleep, all about your circadian rhythm, some foods and lifestyle changes that can help. And of course, we'll be talking about natural solutions and next steps. But first of all, I just wanted to say that this call is not medical advice. Please make sure you're talking to your doctor before you make any changes to your diet or lifestyle, including taking supplements. So we're just sharing our experiences and some tips to help you take the next step, and in particular, sharing our testimonials. And if you don't know me, I am Tracy Black. And I have 10 years ago, my husband experienced some very severe sleep deprivation. Primarily, it was caused by just a whole cocktail of unfortunate things. He was having very severe back issues. And so, in order to deal with those back issues, he was on pain medications, which would make him drowsy. So then he would be on energy drinks to help combat the drowsiness. And it was just this awful circle that he was in, that was very hard to break free. And he even had tried some sleep medications, and that didn't end up helping him either. And so we really were looking for some natural options to help him and get to the root cause. And I can tell you, because of some of the things that we're going to talk about tonight, we did use these same strategies. And today he is sleeping better than ever, with no pain or sleep medication. So it was done for good. And then I myself, just due to hormonal changes and TMJ, I've also experienced sleep issues in these recent years. And I've seen huge improvement by implementing the strategies that we're going to be talking about tonight. We have some other ladies on the call, and they will introduce themselves in just a bit. But first, I just wanted to talk a little bit about lack of sleep and what does this do to you. So if you've ever experienced trouble falling asleep, you can't stay asleep, or maybe you're tossing and turning all night, you don't feel well rested in the morning. If you answered yes to any of that, it could be very likely that you are dealing with a lack of sleep. Insomnia is, another term that we often kind of throw around. But lack of sleep can actually lead to a lot of very severe health issues, including poor immune function. That's definitely something my husband was dealing with. Is once he wasn't getting the sleep, his immune function went out the door. He'd get sick all the time. It can also lead to decreased productivity and focus, just sort of that mental cognition. It can lead to mood swings, irritability, even anxiety and depression, as well as just this chronic fatigue and exhaustion that you might feel because you're not getting that, good night's sleep. Some other things that a lack of sleep can lead to is weight gain, cardiovascular issues like high blood pressure, even low libido and hormone imbalance. So, sleep is really, really important to our everyday health and really important for us to kind of stay on top of that. So, what causes sleep issues? So many different things. And so it is definitely really good to be aware of all this. And first of all, sleep or stress and anxiety, which is so interesting because lack of sleep can cause stress and anxiety. So you can see how this can be just kind of on this endless loop, where if you don't tackle it, it could just keep getting worse. But excessive screen time before bed can also lead to some sleep issues, as well as stimulants like caffeine, energy drinks, nicotine, especially before bed. A poor diet, one that's lacking in nutrients or high in sugar, or just eating a lot before bed where your body can't digest very well. And so that's keeping you up. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but alcohol consumption, this can actually cause quite a few different issues, including sleep, but other things as well. Also, your environment in your bedroom, whether it's noise, light, uncomfortable bed, or even the room temperature, if it's too hot or too cold, or you just feel like it's too stuffy, that can definitely cause sleep issues. Hormonal changes, like what I had mentioned earlier, that's what I was experiencing. Changing sleep schedules. Maybe you're traveling and so you're jet lagged, you're in different time zones, or maybe you are working in a job where you've got different shifts. Maybe you're taking a night shift or a graveyard shift that can lead to some sleep issues. And then there are medical conditions that can lead to sleep issues as well, like your sleep apnea, chronic pain, depression, even asthma. And then, if you have some of these medical conditions, you might be taking or medical conditions, you might be taking medications in order to deal with your condition. And sometimes these medications may actually cause sleep issues too, which is again what my husband was experiencing. So let's talk a little bit about your circadian rhythm. So this is your body's internal clock. So it's sort of regulating that sort of 24-hour sleep wake cycle. And really influenced by environmental cues, right? So when the sun rises in the morning, that light, tells our body it's time to wake up. When the sun sets later in the day, that's our cue to our body that it's time to wind down. And so that light exposure can trigger, right? Again, that alertness or the darkness can trigger that melatonin for sleep. So, ideally, we want to align that circadian rhythm, right, to what's going on with the light, the daytime and the nighttime to ensure that we're getting quality sleep, energy, and mood. But disruptions, right, like irregular schedules because you're working that graveyard shift or maybe being on your phone or TV before you go to bed can really throw that rhythm off. So it's, regular routines and managing that light exposure can really help to help you get a better night's sleep. So now I'm going to pass it over to Stacy.
Thank you, Tracy. That was awesome. I'm Stacy Cook, and I was always the good sleeper. It was my husband that had trouble falling asleep and staying asleep until perimenopause. And that season of life really threw a wrench in my sleep. So over the past few years, I've had more trouble staying asleep than ever before. And, whether I woke up hot or I just had a racing mind, I always had a hard time getting back to sleep. So, what I did was I made some simple diet and lifestyle changes, and I've incorporated a couple of natural solutions to my routine, and we're going to dive into those a little bit more in a little bit. But those shifts really got me back on track with a solid sleep routine, and I'm no longer waking up in the middle of the night, thank goodness. And I have been having really vivid dreams that I remember. And I always take that as a sign of good sleep. And that's the kind of sleep where your body is actually restoring itself and your memory is like doing all the filing away that it needs to do. So um, we're going to dive into some of the things that you can do to get some quality sleep too. I'm going to talk a little bit about some diet and lifestyle changes that you can make today, like really simple things you can just shift and get you on track. Um, First thing we're going to talk about is food and foods that can help. And we are talking about eating real foods, whole foods. Um, I know you've probably heard this 100 times, but it still rings true. And that is that when you go to the grocery store, you should be shopping the perimeter of the store. You know this, right? Um, Now, I will say, I do venture into the interior on occasion. But when I do, I'm reading labels and I'm really buying things that only have one ingredient, like, peanut butter. I'm looking for just peanuts. Tomato paste, I'm looking for just tomatoes. So, like, just really focusing on real foods with no ingredients. Um, the foods you choose for good sleep, magnesium rich foods are going to play a really big role. Magnesium promotes quality sleep. Some good choices are avocado, banana. Banana is rich in magnesium and potassium, so it actually helps our muscles relax too. Dark chocolate, pumpkin seeds. For fruits, berries are always great. Tart cherries are high in natural melatonin and tryptophan. Tryptophan is that amino acid that helps our bodies naturally produce melatonin. And kiwi is also really good and it's high in antioxidants and serotonin. So if you're making some choices, those are some good ones to just kind of maybe give you a little extra sleep oomph. Um, Obviously, you want to pick really nutrient dense foods like high in omega 3s and fatty or fatty fish. So you've got like salmon, flaxseed, avocados, vitamin B rich foods. Now, these are also very anti-inflammatory foods. So they're going to help get to some of the root causes that could also be disturbing your sleep. So vitamin B rich foods are key. That's your beef, chicken, eggs, organ meats. I know not everyone loves organ meats, but if you can stomach them, they're really great multivitamin for you. Um, Obviously, you want to use natural, like oils like avocado oil and coconut oil instead of vegetable oils or seed oils. Um, Protein provides essential amino acids that serve as building blocks for hormone production and regulation. And we already know how important balanced hormones are for good sleep. So you really want to ensure that you're getting enough protein in your diet. Um, you know this, sources are like chicken, beef, lamb. Lamb is exceptionally high in tryptophan. So that's another one that can be really good just as like a sleep support protein. You've got eggs, salmon, shrimp, all those. Um, and then green tea is another good option. Normally, we would say avoid caffeine, right? But green tea has this little magical thing in it called L-theanine. It also has a lot of anti-inflammatory properties. And L-theanine, it doesn't act as a sedative, but it does have calming properties, and that really helps improve your quality of sleep. So it just makes it easier to enter restful, deep sleep. L-theanine can increase levels of GABA, which is gamma aminobutyric acid. And that's a neurotransmitter that reduces excitability and encourages relaxation. So it's really important for the onset of sleep. So if you have trouble falling asleep, you want to make sure that you know, you've got that working for you. L-theanine can also help reduce the impact of stress by lowering cortisol levels. So it really can help regulate the body's sleep-wake cycle and improves overall sleep health. Now, if you're thinking, I need that L-theanine in my life, don't worry. We're going to talk about some more ways that you can get it too. But like Tracy said, things that you want to avoid, alcohol, that is major, major sleep disruption. And I know people think like, oh, alcohol is going to make me sleepy and drowsy and get a better night of sleep. It might for an hour or two, but then zing, it's going to wake you up in the middle of the night. You're going to be hot, you're going to be dysregulated, and you're not going to get back to sleep. So that is not a good sleep crutch at all. It's really disruptive to your sleep. Obviously, excessive caffeine later in the afternoon, not good. Simple carbs, um, things like, cakes, pastries, avoid, soda, high sugar foods, all very common sense. So those are things we want to avoid if we're really looking to get good sleep, have a, anti-inflammatory diet. So that's a good starting point for you, is just going through your cupboards and making some simple changes. And if you feel like it's overwhelming, just start maybe looking through what you have and look at foods you have in your cupboards that have a lot of ingredients and maybe just start eliminating those. Um, and just add in some simple, fresh fruits, produce, small steps one at a time. So let's talk about some lifestyle changes you can make. So some things that you want to do along the lines of diet and food is you really want to avoid after dinner snacks. I know that it is so easy to get into the routine of like, you know, just like a little sweet treat after dinner or after dinner, when I finally put the kids to bed, I have a minute to sit on the couch with my husband and we have a little snack, watch a show. I get it. But maybe just like start thinking about maybe having like a cup of tea instead of a snack, like just making little swaps. But carby snacks, especially, can spike your blood sugar, and that's going to impact your ability to sleep well. Um, and if you're starving before bed, just like a combination of fat and protein is a better option and keeping it small. Sometimes I'll do just like a really tiny handful of Brazil nuts, which are just like yummy and just a little something. The other thing you want to do is turn off devices 30 minutes before bedtime. So easy to say, right? So easy to say, so hard to do. But the blue light emitted from cell phones, computers, television screens, it interferes with your body's melatonin production. Like Tracy was talking about circadian rhythm and cycles, blue light is a major disruptor for that. Um, so it's really, your body's just not going to get its natural signals that it's time to wind down. So if you really struggle with sleep, you owe it to yourself to just push through, shut off the screens, shut off the devices, read a book instead, do something else instead, maybe stretch, whatever. But just try it and see if it helps. And then the other thing that you can do is get your body moving during the day. So in order for you to have quality sleep, you need to make sure you have used up energy throughout the day. Like we know this, right? We know this with our kids. We're like, run them till they can't move, then they're going to get a good night of sleep. You're the same. You are the same. So you need to move your body a little bit. And if you can't dedicate 30 to 60 minutes for a workout every day, don't. But maybe take a 10-minute walk after breakfast and dinner or lunch if you can get out. Just break it up to small things throughout the day. A walk around the block is better than nothing. Um, so I'd really encourage you to do that. And it will also help balance your blood sugar levels. So we talked about caffeine. So all bodies react to caffeine differently. But the best rule of thumb is to simply limit your caffeine to earlier in the day. That might mean no caffeine afternoon. You could switch to an herbal tea if you still like a warm drink. I love herbal tea in the evening, or anything else. But yeah, just try and pay attention. And if you find that, oh, I had a cup of coffee late and so I'm up, just make the connection. Um, Another thing that's interesting is that there is a study that shows that reading before bed can actually really calm the mind and help people fall asleep faster. So it was a 2021 study that suggested that reading before bed helps people fall asleep faster and improves the quality and duration of sleep. So that's a great alternative to scrolling on your phone, which I know is so hard. I'm like a serial scroller in the evening. I just like am so busy during the day that I'm like, time to myself. I guess I'll spend it with Instagram. Not healthy. Don't recommend. So I really do try to read instead. I'm like 50-50. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But just attempting small changes is a good thing. And if you want to take it next level to support sleep, maybe try like a relaxing bath with Epsom salts and essential oils. Not only does a bath calm your body and promote relaxation, but the magnesium from the Epsom salts helps support good sleep. Some great oils you could add would be like cedarwood or lavender, peace and calming. Those will all help you just melt into bed after you get out of the bath. And you can get similar results from a foot soak if you're like, what are you talking about? I have no time to take a bath in the evening. I barely have time to brush my teeth. Just get like a bucket or a tub, throw some, a cup of Epsom salts in there with some oils, fill it with some warm water. And while you read your book and avoid looking at screens, just soak your feet, relax. You owe it to yourself. You deserve it. And you'll get some of those benefits. And routine. So routine is really key when it comes to bedtime. Experts say that having a bedtime routine is the key to getting quality sleep. So it, it might look like maybe 30 minutes before you go to bed, you shut off, lights, maybe you have a bath or a foot soak. Maybe you read a few pages of your book, leave your phone out of reach, start your diffuser, take your couple of sleep supplements if that's what you do, and then, find your way down into bed. But I find personally, my husband and I, we can be very like routine oriented. And I find that when we are consistent with our routine, we have such better sleep. Like it's just amazing. So I really encourage you to try and get a routine. And then always, always make sure that you are not sleeping with any artificial fragrances or other types of environmental toxins that could be throwing your hormones out of balance. Excuse me. So that could mean, like removing artificial fragrances, making sure you're using natural cleaners on your bedding and things like that. And even like making sure that you've got like natural fibers in your bed and things like that, and not a lot of synthetics, because all of that can impact your hormones. And we know that's like a cascade effect of disruption for so many things. So I am going to pass this over to Sherry, who is going to talk about a few more things that you can do to support quality rest.
Thank you, Stacy. So my backstory is that in 2015, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune out of the blue, no warning, no family history. And along with my autoimmune issues, I had been a lifelong asthmatic and also had suffered from chronic insomnia since the age of 12. And it was so interesting to hear Tracy talking about issues that disrupt your sleep. And as an asthmatic, I never put the two together. I just thought it was like who I am. But obviously, it was from all the medications I was on for my asthma from the age of 11 or 12 on, that totally disrupted my sleep my entire lifetime. And when I was then diagnosed with an autoimmune, I was put on too many meds that did very little to help my autoimmune issues, but it made my sleep even worse if that was possible. I would probably sleep maybe 4 hours a night for a big chunk of my life. I would never really sleep. 6 hours was kind of unheard of for a huge majority of my life. And between the autoimmune and other things, I found my way to Stacy and Young Living and started learning about natural options. And I will never forget the first night that I had my diffuser. You know, I listened and I learned, and it was there. Take all these bad things out of the house, put this diffuser in your bedroom. And I used lavender and cedar wood. And I'll talk a bit more about that. But the very first night, I had this diffuser going on my nightstand. And I was like, oh my gosh, that smells funky. That thing is really loud. How is this going to help me sleep? I'm going to be up all night. I was out. The best sleep I had had probably in 20, 30 years. It was amazing. I was like, wait, how did that work? And that was just the start of my journey to being like, okay, so this natural route really, like, there's a lot behind it. And I'm so excited to say that, you know, all these years later, I now control my autoimmune issues, asthma. I don't really have it anymore. And insomnia is not an issue because I handle and support my body with all natural options. And it has made such a difference in my life. So let's talk about some of these natural options that I have utilized over these years. So the first one, and if you don't already know, you need to know Ningxia Red. This is like the Mac Daddy that every single person needs to be drinking, regardless of what you've got going on in your life. But in terms of sleep, there have been clinical studies that showed it increased sleep by an average of 21 minutes just for drinking 2 ounces a day. Wait, what? You can already get more sleep by drinking this. Okay, that's great. But it's also great because it has high levels of antioxidants, and that helps tackle inflammation. Reducing that overall inflammation in your body can help improve your sleep patterns and the quality of your sleep. And I didn't mention, but my autoimmunes are all inflammatory autoimmunes. I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have Hashimoto's, and asthma is actually a precursor, as I learned once I learned about autoimmune. Asthma is an inflammatory disease, so I was already set up my entire life to just keep adding on. Well, I'm taking them away. I'm knocking them out. So Ningxia Red is a staple that everyone should be using for overall wellness. Now, and I know Stacy's going to be chiming in a moment. This year at convention, Young Living came out with a new supplement that we are all kind of obsessed with, and it is called Deep Night Essence. Here's the cool thing about this one. It's melatonin free. Now, melatonin is okay for short term to help you kind of get back into that sleep pattern, to help readjust your circadian rhythm if you're off. However, it is not good to have to take it every day. Your body should naturally be producing melatonin. And if we're always supplementing, our body's like, wait, what? I don't know what to do. So this is amazing. So you can take this nightly. It's not habit forming. It does not have melatonin in it. So it's not going to disrupt our body's natural melatonin production. It's great for easing stress, and it promotes relaxation without that like drowsiness effect of melatonin. When I've ever taken melatonin, I get almost like that hangover effect the next morning. I find it harder to wake up. Sure, I slept okay, but now I feel like I'm kind of like dragging in that beginning part of the day. There is spearmint in this supplement, green tea extracts, and we already heard from Stacy about how green tea is really great for us. So it's going to help us sleep better but also it's helping boost our cognitive function with visual recall and concentration. Again, sleep is so important for our overall health. Stacy, did you want to just jump in and share a little bit about why you love Deep Night Essence?
Well, I just had to because I saw Sherry was going to be talking about this, and I said, please, and you know, I just have to say, I love it so much. Like, I love it so much. We got it at a convention. I tried it. The first night I tried it, I had one of the best nights of sleep ever. And exactly what Sherry said, I woke up without that like hangover effect that you might feel from Immupro, or anything that has melatonin. Um, and I had vivid dreams. And then I brought it home and my husband took it away from me and he used it. And I didn't have it for a while. And then I just got another bottle and I was reminded of why I love it so much. So this past week I've had it. I've had the best weeks of sleep, or the best week of sleep. Um, and just personally, walking through a challenging season right now for a variety of reasons, I had not been sleeping well. And so this was like this wonderful, wonderful gift. So um, I just, I love it so much. And I just had to tell you that. So thank you for letting me share, Sherry.
Of course. Um, and it truly is amazing. If you haven't tried this yet, you need to. You need to try it. It's great. Um, and then to pair it, we also now have a new super magnesium. Now, magnesium is a key mineral that is super important for our body to help promote relaxation and quality sleep. Before Young Living had this one, we had MegaCal, which was a powdered version. I have been taking a calcium supplement for years, but have now transitioned over to ours. Now, why do I transition to the Young Living supplements when I was already on one? Well, if you don't know this about our supplements, they are so much more bioavailable, which means our body absorbs and gets all the goodness out of it because of the essential oils that are infused into them. So that is why whenever Young Living comes out with a supplement that they didn't currently have before, and I was taking something, I switch over to the Young Living version because my body gets so much more out of that supplement than anything I could have bought anywhere else. So this is amazing. And they recommend taking 3 of these a night with your sleep essence for an extra sleep boost. So if you try this and you're like, okay, it works, but magnesium is like kicking it up a notch. Magnesium is a key mineral that everyone should be taking, though. It calms your nervous system. It helps reduce your fatigue. It gives you more energy. It's just something everyone should be taking. And I really have found an impact on it helping me relax in the evenings. I take it about an hour before I go to bed. So it's like really awesome for that. And then Immupro is another supplement from Young Living that I feel a lot of us were taking all of the time to help us sleep. Immupro is kind of like the 1-2 punch. It is great for your immune system. So whenever I'm feeling run down, I'm a teacher. I work in a petri dish of 8-year-olds. I will chew an Immupro. The good side is that, great, I'm boosting my immune system and I'm going to sleep. The mini downside is that there is some melatonin in there. So I love it for the sleep, but I have to be sure I take it very early in the evening so I don't wake up with that sluggish feeling in the morning. But it's still a favorite in our house. If I know I'm taking it later at night, I'll take a half of it. But Immupro is amazing. So those are the supplements. And now let's talk about some oils that we can also use. And you've already heard me chatting about them. The first one is Tranquil Roller. Already pre-done for you. I like to roll this on my spine before I go to bed. And it's the easy button. It already has cedarwood, lavender, and Roman chamomile. Great for sleep. You can put it on your wrists, on the side of your neck, whatever works for you. And then there's Sleepy Eyes. Now, I know it says Kid Sense. I am not a kid. I use it all the time. This has lavender, geranium, Roman chamomile, tangerine, bergamot, sacred frank, which I'm very partial to, valerian, and rue. Now, normally I'm not a fan of those, but all those other oils in there, you don't notice them. So both of these, and you can see this is kind of beat up. These are both in my bathroom. depending on the mood I'm in, which one I'll put on at bedtime. Sleepy Eyes also comes as an essential oil, so it's great in your diffuser. Lavender, everybody knows lavender for sleep. I feel like it's everybody's like go-to sleep oil. Cedarwood. Cedarwood. I don't talk science, but I'm going to on this one. It is high in sesquiterpenes, and sesquiterpenes is what improves the oxygen flow to your brain. So you know how like if you were ever camping as a kid and you'd be in the middle of the woods and you slept really good? It's because of all those big trees. And all those big trees are filled with sesquiterpenes. So it is amazing to help you relax, and it calms the brain. And then finally, and I love this, nutmeg. Now, nutmeg, I would personally take it internally for this, but it's amazing because it helps boost the production of melatonin naturally in your body, which we know is one of those things that's important to help us sleep. So I feel between supplements and oils, there are so many different options that you can choose to see what works best for you with lifestyle and diet changes to see what will work best to help improve your sleep. So now what's next? Well, start with Ningxia Red. There is a 14-day reset bundle, which is the best way, hands down, to get your hands on the Ningxia Red. The box contains 51 pouches. It's the most economical way. And we have a 14-day reset group that you can do to help kickstart your body into good, healthy patterns. And you will connect back to the person who sent you this recording, who referred you here, if you have any other questions, and if you need any other products or cleaning products or oils. And be sure that you mark your calendar, because we're going to have another class coming up in November about gut health, because all of these things are related, my friends. We need to fix all the things so that we're getting that good night's sleep. And then if you aren't already, be sure that when you're ordering these products, be sure that you're getting them on a loyalty order, because you're getting points back, which is like free money. And who doesn't like things for free? So thank you, everyone. And I'm going to kick it back to Tracy so she can close us out.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Well, we hope you all learned a lot tonight, all about getting better sleep. Do you see how easy it is? This really is the easy button. Ningxia Red, getting some supplements like your Deep Night Essence, and getting better sleep in 14 days. So huge thank you to Sherry and Stacy for sharing tonight. And you can see how easy it is to implement these changes and feel better in 14 days. We'd love to hear from you. Please share this with friends and family. And then again, refer back to, like Sherry said, to the person who shared this with you, so that you can also get better sleep in 14 days. All right. Thanks, everybody, so much for joining in. If you would like to connect with us, you can follow any of us on Instagram or reach out to us if you would like to order yourself. And just wanted to say thanks again. All right, ladies, thank you. Have a good night, everybody.